Why do I have a tutorial on these things? You know what? Let's just delete everything and get going. I am going to be using Eevee for this, while for this render over here, I used cycles. Anyway, let's get back to it and get out of rendered view mode. It's actually quite simple. All you really need is a circle. Go into edit view, add a face, and extrude it up. I'm going to move the cursor to this bit by Shift S and just add in a curve over here. That's a circle as well. Yeah, there's a lot of circles in this, okay? Now, to get into front view and press tab to get into edit mode. And let's just scale these bottom ones down because we sort of want this bottom bit to be hidden inside everything else. And just select this and just move it up. And is that it? Like, are we done? For the most part, yeah. This is quite possibly like the hardest bit. Now let's just select this and use scale to actually shape it instead of transform. Anyway, give it some geometry from this place. So a depth of 0.05 I believe is fine. And now the origin's down here. Let's just apply all transforms and move the origin back to this bit. Just in case we transformed it. I don't think I did. I don't remember anymore. Add in an empty and give this bit an array. Instead of relative offset, we're going to be using object offset and just use the empty. Now, just rotate it along the z-axis by 45 and 45, so that should be 4, right? Increase the array to 4 as well. The reason it's 4 is because, one second, let's get into top view for this. So this should be 360 degrees, right? But 360 divided by 4 is actually 90. So what's going on? Well, actually, it's a circle. It's like a half circle. It's a half circle, so it's actually doing 180 at the same time. So how do I explain this? One second. So 360 divided by 4. This should be 90. But each of these is covering two sides at the same time, so divide this by 2 again, and 45. There we go, easy peasy. That's a lot easier to explain. That can stay over there for the rest of this video as well. Anyway, now you can increase the resolution by two ways. First of all, you can increase this, and that will make them nice and smooth. I don't like doing that. Now, the reason I don't like doing that is actually quite simple. What if I want this to be a background object? In that case, I don't really want this to have so many faces because right now, both of these combined have 2,338 faces. If I just increase this to say 32, I'm pretty much tripling that because yeah, that's how faces work. If you triple the resolution, the faces will also be tripled. Okay, anyway, back to this. Now, something else that I want over here is at the bottom, you can cause an inset and take it out over here. Actually, let's take it further out. And let's just add in some, that's over here, loop cuts I mean. And I am going to be using an add-on for this. So the add-on is called loop cuts, too many O's, loop cuts. And the reason this add-on is so good is because of things like this. So for example, I'm just going to select these 4, actually get in transform mode, select all 4 of these. So it selects the ones at the back as well as those. And look at what happens when I right click, go into loop tools and bridge. Would you believe that? Okay, this add-on is in Blender by default and I highly recommend that you get it. It makes life a lot easier. Next up, I'm going to shade smooth and come over here and turn on auto smoothing. Yay. Okay, things look decent now. Okay, the top bit also needs some love, so I'm gonna select this, add in an inset and just take it in. There we go. This does have an issue where obviously you can see they're all overlapping with each other. And we can fix that easily. Just select the array and just scale it in the Z direction. Don't increase it, just decrease it ever so slightly. Let's just get in closer with that. Increase it ever so slightly, so just enough so they're not overlapping anymore. And that should be good enough. The materials that I used for the actual render were also quite simple. I have it over here. I don't know why I'm using two different materials, 001s. I think they're the exact same. Yeah, they're the exact same. So it's just full metallic with everything else at base. And the same can go over here. And maybe, just maybe, get into front view, edit mode. Select all of these faces. And let's just give this a different material, so the black one. Assign that. Let's see what that looks like. Oh, I need a light. My bad. Okay, that looks decent enough for me. Next up, something else that I want to do is just add in those walls once more. So walls were actually quite simple. I don't know why I just deleted that. It's nothing actually special, just this wall and make it orange. Add in another wall, make that orange as well. The sun lamp, maybe strength of 5 is good enough. Yeah, the bloom was way too strong. And yeah, that is the whisk completely done. But is that the only way to make a whisk? Oh, wait, no, it's not done. My bad. Yeah, I kind of forgot about this. So let's just select both of these. And the reason I selected both of these is because it's gonna add the cursor in the middle and add in another curve. Curve. Rotate it along the y-axis by 90 and move it all the way down here. And now we can get into wireframe mode and press tab as well. Not wireframe mode, my bad. So next up, what I want to do is I want to scale both of these out. And the reason for that is because I want the curves to follow a specific path while they're inside. Let's just move them down a little. Never mind. My bad. This and this. Move them up. Scale them out as well. Move both of these up as well. And yeah, that should be fine enough. Let's just give this the geometry. I'm gonna give it the exact same depth. Yeah, that looks decent enough. Now, next up, you want to select both of these and then select this last. Whatever you select last will become the parent. So press Ctrl P and select this for the object. And now whenever you move this around, everything else will not move around because you didn't apply. No, wait, you need to select the plane and the whisk. What are these things called at the front? The whisky things. Control P and parent that as well. And now everything should be fine. Yeah. Until you drop it and fail. So move it slowly and everything is fine. Move it too fast and okay, it is fine. It just needs to calculate it. Okay, just move it around slightly and it'll be fixed. Anyway, this is not the only way to make stuff like this. Something else that people do is I'm just gonna select one of these. So duplicate and separate. Another way people do this is by just doing it manually, the good old way. You select it, press Alt D, rotate along 90, and scale it along the Z just slightly so it's not touching anymore. You do the same thing once more, so Alt D and rotate along 90. My bad, rotate 45. And just scale this along the Z slightly. And there you go, it's done. Now there is a difference between both of them. This one, you could just apply the array, but in order to apply the array, you first need to convert it into a mesh, and that will pretty much apply the array as well. So just go into edit mode, select all, and press P and separate by loose parts. So you pretty much don't have to do the manual part at all. If you want them to be separate, you can easily just make them separate without ever actually worrying about it. And the reason you might want them separate is because if you're going for a realistic artwork or realistic design, then you need to add some variation. So for example, you need to add some wear and tear, in which case you don't want them to be linked in the first place. So just Shift D this, and I'm just going to hide that and delete the original one. And the reason I hate it is because I want to add some variation. So just do this. Like, that's pretty much done. I know it looks bad, but Whisks in the real world have gone through a lot of wear and tear. Anyway, now the final thing that I want to add is basically the reason I didn't increase the resolution. I did explain it, like, yeah, what if it's a background object? Okay, why is this still parented though? Okay, we can clear parents, that's not really a problem. Yeah, it might be a background object, so it might be like that far away, in which case I don't really care about, how many vertices there are in there or how much detail there is. But if it's something that's, where is my image? If it's something that's the main focus of your drawing or your artwork, then it kind of needs to have a lot of detail. And in that case, you want to add subsurface division. So Control 1. And there you go. Like, okay, this is detailed, but it's still not detailed enough to be, this close to the camera, because then you can see these. That's not really an issue. Control 2. There you go. It's fixed. If you still want more details, to get rid of this ever so slight border up here, just Control 3. Did I make them smooth? I don't think I did, but I think curves are smooth by default, so that's not really an issue. Anyway, that's this video. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.